It's weird from here. Hi everyone, I wanted to come in and wish you a happy Sunday. It's been very quiet from me. I wanted to let everybody relax and enjoy their time with the holidays, as I did as well. I hope you had an amazing holiday, and I hope your spirits are up and you're just enjoying this Sunday. So, we're going to be covering some anti-inflammatory. I have put many lists in all of my groups on like a full list of anti-inflammatory and things you could really do to help manage your pain, because we're talking about pain, and anti-inflammatory foods are really the best way to go. It has a lot of pluses, and it works with your gut. So let me kind of explain that, so I'm just not spurting stuff out and you have an idea of what I'm talking about. When you have acute pain, it's usually because of an injury or something like that. But when you have chronic pain, say from arthritis or an old injury that caused arthritis or something else, fibromyalgia, things like that, these things occur. So that's chronic. That means that on a regular basis, when you get up or as the day progresses, you have pain. So that usually means that there's an imbalance in gut health also. So if there's inflammation in the body, it's throwing off all of your other hormones. We discussed that because your cortisol level is up, just like it is when you have stress. It's up when you have pain. All your body responds in the same way, fight or flight. So pain is like an attack on the body. That's how the body sees it. It sees it as foreign. That's why you have the inflammation, and it increases your cortisol levels, and it does impact all your other hormones. So when I talk about pathways, I talk about doing things in a consistently that are going to impact your overall outcomes. So the pathway is that you really do have to focus on your gut health no matter what else is going on in your body, because if that's not healthy, the rest of your body is not working. It is connected to everything that goes on in your body, all of those millions of little messengers. It's got billions of cells side by side that are just working and sending little messages throughout your body throughout the day. So you really need to make sure that it's also your immunity, it's connected to your heart health, and like I said, all of the other things that are going on in your body. So if you're not feeling well, you're going to have, your body is going to respond worse to things like pain and depression and things like that. So a lot of your mood comes from your food and what's going on in your gut. Your autoimmune diseases are linked to your gut health, and by really repairing what's going on in your gut, you really can improve all of the things that we discuss in this group in your body, especially your pain. So when we talk about pain, we're talking about your cortisol levels, because your stress is really up, your inflammation is up. These are things that are really happening, and also your sex organs. So your sex hormones. I'm sorry, not your sex organs. Your sex hormones are also often out of balance. So a lot of people think that hormones only really have one function, but they do a variety of functions, and they are a part of the inflammation process. So when your hormones are off, your sex hormones are off, you're going to have changes in mood, changes in libido. So that's why he said you really have to follow the pathways, because it affects so much else. So some people are just experiencing the inflammation, and maybe they're feeling a little melancholy and they don't think that's a big deal. But it's what's going on in the gut that is causing all of these things throughout the body. So when we talk about cortisol, we want to reduce cortisol levels in the body. Okay, not dramatically. They should be at a normal baseline level when everything is functioning well. When they drop too quickly, that's not good either. Or when they rise too fast, that's not good. So what I mean to really tell you is that you should really be incorporating a lot of anti-inflammatory foods into your diet to help minimize the pain that you're feeling on a regular day-to-day basis. And in conjunction, start working on your gut health, strengthening your gut. Now, the best way to really reduce your cortisol levels is to meditate, relax, sleep, drink those fluids. So, if you're not drinking fluids the way you need to be, there's dehydration going on, there's constipation going on, your digestion slowing down, all things that do impact the gut as well. So, it's a multifaceted thing that you really have to start working on. So, nothing is changeable overnight. So like you don't wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to improve my gut health. I'm going to reduce my inflammation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I get that. But these are little steps that you can do on a day-to-day basis to really make your life more manageable and more enjoyable, because nobody wants to wake up in pain. I certainly don't. So when I started on my journey more than a decade ago, I was in chronic pain, and I knew I was lucky that I understood the science, because that's what I do for a living. But I really had to reverse engineer and see where all those problems really started with me, and how I wound up with so many autoimmune, and how I was in chronic pain, and why I was 257 pounds, and why it was happening so quickly in my body. I felt like I was dying from the inside out. I was always depressed. Melancholy is selling it short. But when I looked at it, I was able to see that there was always a problem in my digestion. I always ate foods that weren't really good for me growing up. My mom worked to support 4 girls independently, so we were kind of left to our own devices and ate those things that I tell you that are not the best for you to be eating today. I think I've always had a gluten intolerance. Not so much gluten, because I love oats. I have oatmeal, but I can't tolerate wheat at all. And wheat is really a filler, and that it's created in such bulk. It's put out there, and it has so many fillers and other processed things in it that it's really not the best for you. Some people will tell you soy is really good for you. I, for one, do not agree with that. It's also another filler. It also has the ability to impact your estrogen levels, which anything that's messing with your hormones is never a good idea. So if your doctor you go to the doctor and he tells you your estrogen is low and he encourages you to have more soy products, that's one thing. But to be having things with soy in it on a regular day-to-day basis is not healthy from my point of view. Okay, and this is just, I know that for myself, someone who was going through menopause and felt like death the first 6 months, that even just taking that soy out of my diet changed a lot of those hot flashes and moods that I was experiencing. So I know that for some people, they might enjoy it. They might like that edamame and all that stuff. I, for one, have just learned to live without it, because my symptoms were so much better without it. I eliminated the gluten. I do have the oatmeal. I do like barley in my soup from time to time, but nine times out of 10, I buy gluten-free products because I'm so used to eating them, and that's what I mean about really developing a lifestyle. So at first, when I did that, I wasn't sure if it was all gluten that I was intolerant to, so that was the best way for me to do it. I eliminated the soy. I eliminated the gluten. I cut a lot of the processed foods that I had been eating regularly out of my diet. I eliminated full-fat dairy at first because I was a very big milk drinker. But when you look at the American cows and what they're eating and the hormones that they're getting, it wasn't healthy. So I just eliminated it. Not all dairy, but full-fat milk and things like that, I took out. And I got better progressively. On a day-to-day basis, I felt better. My moods were changed. The pain went from a 10 scale to maybe a 3 scale in a very little time. So I eat a very large anti-inflammatory diet, And I add in other things, like even my water, it's red, there's beet juice and stuff like that in there. They have a superfood formula that you could just add to your water. Water is not always the most appetizing. I can't drink it cold. It does impact my metabolism. I think that my body really needs to eat things that run warm. So I have everything at room temperature, and it seems to help minimize my symptoms as well. So a friend of mine who's very proficient in Ayurvedic medicine explained the concepts to me and whether I was hot or cold, and we decided that I need to stoke the fire. So keep warm is good for me. So and I believe that to be true. So what I want to tell you that is, if you're trying to make changes in your life, that you can make little changes on a day-to-day basis until you get to a point where you really incorporated them into your life. Because anybody who tries to just stick things into their diet that aren't what they usually eat, they kind of lose momentum and they don't stick with it. So there's lots and lots of anti-inflammatory foods out there. If the ones that are the highest or the best don't agree with you, then go for the other ones. It's more about trying to adapt something that you can stick with long term. So you're more apt to stick to something if you're eating things that are common to you to begin with. You know, it's about meeting people where they're at now, not trying to say, okay, you have to eat this and you have to eat that. If you don't pick something that is agreeable with you and something that you can do long term, then you're going to go back to where you were in the beginning. So that's why I developed a lifestyle blueprint that worked for me. And usually when I'm meeting with my clients, I do the same for them too. It's very important for me to do a thorough assessment and find out what they're eating now, what they love and stuff. And you don't go to someone's home and say, you can't do this and you can't do that. So you really try to meet them where they are. And, you know, if they're eating a lot of foods that they shouldn't be eating, then you try to help them with alternatives and healthier choices along the lines of what they're eating. Because then they're going to have the most effect, and it's going to create a long-term impact, and their outcomes are dramatically going to improve. So I hope this helps. If you want to learn more about really reducing the inflammation, you know, you could always message me. I'm all over Facebook helping people. I have a new forum this week. In the forum, we're going to be really talking about mental health. I think we need to speak more about it. I don't think that enough people are talking about it, and I think there's a lot of stigmas and stereotypes related to it, and I think the more we talk about it, the less that will occur in society today. So I want to do my part. So, you know, I'm out there all over Facebook, really just trying to spread the word of good health, because I feel great today, you know, and if I could put into words how I felt 10 years ago, or if I, you know, if you saw me then, you wouldn't even, and, you know, if you walked up to me on the street then, and you walked up to me now, you wouldn't even know it was the same person. I was very moody. I was very grumpy. I was always tired. I wasn't sleeping. I was always in pain. I was always sad. And I didn't see really good future with the way I was feeling, you know. So today I have a much more positive outlook about my health and where I'm going. And I show up every day for my friends and my family as the best version of myself, because I'm more likely to go out and do those things I enjoy when I'm feeling better. So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm glad that you're here today, and I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. And if there's something specific you want to learn more about, please reach out. I'd love to help. Have a great day, guys.